Andrew. How are you?
Quite deeply affected, to be honest.
I read your one of your tweets. There's a few of them. They're pretty strong statements that you've made. One of them says it's not only Charlie, there's a list, they're coming for the rest of us. What do you mean by that?
We no longer live in any kind of civilized political discourse. The left and the right are not arguing about interest rates or economic policy. This is a complete different worldview. These people lack spirits and souls, and they believe that anybody who disagrees with them or says a word counter to their narrative deserves a bullet in the neck. This is no longer political discourse. This is a divide which is much larger than most divides, which caused endless wars across the planet. And Charlie Kirk was killed for being the good guy, for being the nice guy. He hasn't been nearly as inflammatory as I have with many subjects. And they believe we deserve death, and they celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk in a disgusting, inhumane manner. Let's not forget, because it's easy to forget, attempts. Not only did they try to kill Trump, but we forget it because they were unsuccessful. They tried to kill Nick Fuentes. We forget it because they were unsuccessful. Did you even know they tried to kill me? Type Andrew Tate knife attack. Last month, somebody put on a high-vis vest pretending to be a builder, trying to get access to my house with a blade. And when he was identified, started slashing randomly because he couldn't kill me. So I'm on a death list also. And the media is spinning and hyper-radicalizing low IQ people into attacking anybody who has a worldview that's different to theirs. The media is absolutely, completely complicit. And I would argue that very few people on the planet had larger voices for the masculine youth than Charlie Kirk. If you want to say some names which are possibly up there, it's myself and Nick, and we've already had attempts on our life. This is disgusting. And this is no longer a political divide. This is no longer about policy. This is about good and evil. This is about right and wrong. This is a war. This is almost an unfixable problem. When people are laughing and celebrating a father dying in front of his children because he disagreed with their worldview, especially when their worldview is wrong. Let's analyze as professionals. If you're going to sit and tell the world that men can be women because they put on a wig, and they believe you deserve a bullet in the neck the second you disagree with them, they are fighting objective reality. You can't agree or disagree with these people. Where is the political solution for people you cannot agree, disagree, conversate, or debate with? You tell me how we have a political solution to this. I'm on a forever kill list, as was Charlie, as is Nick, as is Trump, as is anyone who tries to enforce basic reality, as is Elon. Elon saved the world. He's trying to make humans multiplanetary, and people will laugh if he dies. Do you understand the spiritual sickness we're discussing here? This isn't politics. This isn't policy. This is a complete lack of souls. You know, people often attack me for toxic masculinity, and the masculine essence in and of itself always had respect for their adversaries. When you finish fighting, you shake hands. Even generals in old wars would show respect to their opponent after they killed them, or they would allow surrender. There's always been a degree of respect in combat amongst the masculine mindset, the masculine realm. But these new liberals, this hyper-feminized feminist, even the men are basically girls. Harry Sisson, Dean Withers, they're female. They have no respect for the sanctity of life. If somebody annoys them or disagrees with them once, they believe that person deserves to die and they celebrate it. That's not the masculine way. My worst enemy could die. In front of his children, I would do nothing but support his family. I would send them money and make sure that his kids could eat. My worst enemies. We are living in the most disgusting period of human history. This is absolutely disgusting. And I don't see a political solution for these savages who are perfectly prepared to kill and celebrate over a few words. And the fact that I'm on a kill list doesn't bother me. It's not about me. It's about Charlie. The fact that he was the nice guy. So you can't be a nice guy to these people. They will kill you. What are we supposed to do here, Mario?
I'll read out a tweet that he said. He said, assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. I worry about labeling this left versus right. And there's one of your tweets, I'm sure you were emotional when you posted it. You said just civil war. That's what you said.
I said civil. I said civil war is coming. Because the only prerequisite to war, the only way to avoid war is a degree of negotiation or discourse, which is why I asked you the very well-constructed question just a second ago. How do we have discourse with people that we can't politely speak to and we can't disagree with, and we have to completely capitulate to their false worldview? Otherwise, we deserve a bullet in the neck. Explain to me how discourse can solve this. This is me genuinely asking you a question. I don't
know. Ben Shapiro canceled all his appearances.
So civil war is going to be the end result. I'm not calling for violence. What I'm making very clear is that there is no alternative if these people will not sit down and have a conversation. You know, America's in a very difficult predicament. I understand the free speech. I understand we want to live in a democracy and freedom. I understand these things. But if we're going to allow social media platforms to celebrate people's deaths the way that Charlie's death is currently being celebrated, the country is going to disappear within 5 years. So if I was president, normally I have all the answers. But now, for once, I'm stumped. What would I even do as president? Can I lock all these people up? Probably not. Can I round them all up? No. Am I just going to let them celebrate and laugh? Am I going to let every single person who says something controversial be threatened with death? Am I going to allow every single time Andrew Tate or Nick Fuentes or you or Elon or anyone makes a post that these people don't agree with, for them to start writing underneath it, Charlie Kirk, LOL, coming next, and radicalizing more and more people to believe that we deserve to die? Let me ask you a question. I have daughters. I think that human traffickers should be killed. I'm sure you think the same. The media called me a human trafficker for 4 years, and I've never been convicted. There are people who believe I deserve to die. I've never been convicted of a crime, and I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. That's why this man came here with a knife to kill me. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? How can I have political discourse with these people? How can I explain to them this was a hit job on me and my reputation? How can I talk to them if they don't believe that a man who puts on a wig isn't actually truly a woman? How do I talk to somebody who doesn't believe in gravity? How do I talk to someone whose worldview is so warped and so corrupted? They don't understand the basic premises of Earth, the basic realities. They don't believe in the sun, the moon, the sky, the ground. How can I talk to these people? And when I try, no matter how articulate, in fact, this isn't about me. When Charlie was articulate, kind, interesting, witty, he was polite, he gave his time. When he tried his very best to explain to them how they were wrong and repeatedly decimated them in the world of logic, all they do instead of learning their lesson is call for his death and laugh when it happens. How do I find a political solution to this? It's a genuine question.
I don't know. Like, I was speaking to Congressman Jim Jordan just a few days ago, as well as Ben Habib in the UK, which I know you're doing some political stuff in the UK, and they both said the US is the final front for free speech. It's the pinnacle of free speech. And then when you have people like Ben,
but this is the thing that's so dangerous, Mario. For there to be free speech, there can't be limits on the speech, but there must be within the population a basic understanding and parameters of objective reality. Everybody must understand gravity exists, right? There can't be free speech if everybody's saying, let's throw children off of buildings. Gravity is not real. Eventually, you're calling for murder. At a certain point, when objective reality has been decimated to the point where there are no parameters left, like this man-woman crap, or how killing children is somehow important to do, or that we shouldn't have borders and unlimited numbers of people should turn up and we don't know who they are, or we shouldn't arrest criminals and criminals shouldn't go to jail. When you have absolutely no parameters left, how can you have free speech without inciting for what exactly happened? At a certain point, free speech just becomes inciting for violence, and the violence comes because these people do not have respect for life. They don't have respect for a differing opinion. They don't have respect for anything. So we've lost control of a large percentage of the Western population who live in a fantasy land. And in their fantasy land, they think people deserve bullets in the neck unless you also drink the Kool-Aid. What is the political solution to this? There are people who will, I know when they get me, there's going to be large celebrations. And people are going to say, he said women can't park cars. He deserves to die and orphan all his children because of a joke. But they will make jokes about Charlie Kirk's death. And they don't care, and they don't see the hypocrisy in that. These people are soulless. The West has lost its soul. There is no honor left. Not even the basic masculine dignity of showing respect to a fallen enemy. Nothing. There is nothing left. I want you to speak to Elon. I want to get on the rocket and go to Mars. I am completely heartbroken. Not just because of Charlie. Not just because I know I'm next. I'm heartbroken for humanity. I'm ready to die. I've had a great life. I'm heartbroken for the Western world as we know it. And anyone with a brain should be.
I remember when we did a space not long after Trump's assassination, I think on the same day, and no, it was before that, and you said on the space, I will never kill myself. And Elon said something similar, and I think, I'm not sure who else, Alex Jones might have said something similar on that space. And, you know, afterwards we saw Trump's assassination attempt, and now we saw Charlie shot in the neck. It seems like we're just slowly walking into that world, and we keep moving on. People have moved on from the president almost killed just a few months ago. What do you think is going to happen now after Charlie Kirk's death? Are we just going to move on and live our life like we did after Trump's assassination attempt?
I hope not. However, I think we do need a solid plan. I mean, it's easy to descend into chaos and more senseless acts of violence, but we need a solid plan, which is why I asked the question I asked earlier. What do we do about these people? This is a genuine question. I'm not even insinuating the answer. I'm asking. What do we do about the people who believe that it's good that he died? What do we do about the people who believe Elon Musk should die? What do we do about the people who believe that I, because the media lied about me for years and I was never convicted, should be dead? What do we do about the people who believe Candace Owens should die? What do we do about the person who was laughing that Nick Fuentes almost died? Nobody even knows they tried to kill me a month ago. Nobody even cares. What do we do about these people who want us dead? How do you live in a country where half of the people you interact with or see or walk past want you dead? How do you do that? This is a genuine question. How do you exist amongst people who want you gone? What's the answer? I don't have the answer. I don't see a political solution to this.
What's the other solution then? I know you mentioned the risk of civil war.
And we have to be very careful here, right? We have to be very careful here. And I like you, Mario. You're a good friend of mine. But, you know, journalists in and of themselves love to get the rage bait answers. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but that's what the left have certainly been doing for a very long time. I'm not calling for anybody to be dead. What I'm trying to say is that normally, with every single problem, I consider myself a man who knows all the solutions and knows all the answers. But after this, I'm sitting here thinking, what do we do? And I'll be honest, if I was in charge of America, the people who are laughing and dancing and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, I believe, should end up feeling the force of the law. But how does that affect free speech? And how is that weaponized against us into the future? I don't know. And then you have to go down a deeper rabbit hole. You're currently in Dubai. Dubai is safe and Dubai is secure, it looks like, or the Middle East. You're in somewhere safe and secure. America is no longer safe and secure for anybody. It's not safe and secure anymore. So how do you restore this? How do you restore unity? How do you restore sanctimonium? How do you fix these things? Because America doesn't just have domestic enemies. It has international enemies. There's a reason everyone's running away from America and running away from Europe and running to Dubai. Because it's a place where you can exist without the threat of being killed. But Dubai doesn't have free speech. Does free speech just end in tyranny? I don't know. How does this end? I'm not sure. What I'm saying is that if it was up to me, if I was the president, I would say, okay, we're going to have free speech, but we need to have some basic parameters we all understand and respect. Free speech works if we have the same view of history, the same view of what a successful society is, the same view of what a family is. You need to have some basic parameters. You can't have people who disagree on absolutely every single facet of existence and then have these people walking around with guns and then have unchecked media pieces stirring up hate. How will that end in anything other than assassinations?
But then what's the solution? Because in Europe, you're seeing the opposite. You're seeing free speech destroy one's freedom. And we're seeing that abused in the UK. We're seeing all the people arrested more than Russia.
Seven AFD politicians died before the election.
In Germany.
So people are dying everywhere for having the wrong point of view now. Because we're the Nazis. We're evil somehow. We've been demonized to the point where we deserve death. And because we're the rational ones, because we're the smart ones, we don't wish death upon our enemies. We wish enlightenment upon our enemies. I don't want liberals to die. I want them to wake up and live happy lives and contribute to society. But they want me dead. I want them to do better for themselves and for everyone else. They want me dead. And unfortunately, if you study history, the more extreme, the more radical, the more ruthless, the more likely you are to be successful. And this is a very sobering reminder that sometimes the good guy doesn't win. Sometimes the most vicious, evil, backstabbing, conniving cheater wins. And as we remain rational, as we respect the Constitution, as we turn the other cheek, as we live and let live, as we say, well, these stupid animals with their soulless TikToks deserve the right to say it. As we do all of these things, we are signing our death warrant.
What happens to free speech now if the people that are speaking are just worried to speak out? You got Ben Shapiro canceled his appearances. I was with Cenk yesterday, one of his hosts canceled their appearance. You've got all these different people increasing their security. Probably more will continue canceling appearances. What happens to speech if everyone's too scared to say the wrong thing and end up like Charlie Kirk?
Couple that with AI and you can't even tell who's real and who's not online anymore. So it's not even like you can turn to the internet because half of it's fake. We are descending into a nightmare, a technocratic, communistic nightmare. And we're not far away. And for once, I do not have all the answers. I don't know. And you know, it's interesting. It's very interesting because the human psyche is very prepared to give up its freedom for safety. COVID was a perfect example of that. You're in the Middle East right now. I'm a huge fan of the Middle East. It's amazing how instantly when you have a family and children, you're prepared to give up your ability to speak freely if they guarantee you safety. And there are some countries that do that. There are countries which will guarantee you physical safety if you don't say the wrong thing. And they're going to become more and more attractive to Westerners who realize that saying the things that need to be said to save the country, the people you're saving don't even respect it. The people you're trying to save want you dead. Do you understand that when I make policies for Bruv, talking about how to save the United Kingdom, British people tell me I deserve to die for saying that I want to improve their economy. Elon tried to save the world and they want him dead. Imagine how Elon feels. Imagine being Elon and risking your entire fortune and all your life to buy Twitter, to allow people to speak freely, and then they just insult him all day. Do you have any idea how much faith he's lost in humanity? Do you blame him? Some people are just so soulless and so lost. Some people are so hopelessly dependent on the system, they will fight to defend it. They are agents of the matrix. And you know, I want to talk from a personal perspective here. What Elon did was so amazing when he opened up X, because he's a very rich man who didn't have to do it. I'm nowhere near as rich as Elon. But I tell you, for a council estate kickboxer from the poorest town in England, I've done all right. I have hundreds of millions. And then I tried my very best to wake people up and tell people the truth and tell everyone at home how this world really works and how they have to resist enslavement. And sometimes you see the amount of backlash you get and the amount of hate you get from the people you're trying to help. And you understand why the elites just take their money and run. You understand why they just take their money, go to somewhere quiet and private, and leave the serfs in their slavery to just suffer. Because the serfs rejoice when bad things happen to you, because they're too afraid to get into the arena. A coward will always laugh at a gladiator who loses, because the coward feels an innate shame for his lack of bravery. He hates himself because he doesn't have the bravery to do the right thing. So when he sees a brave man fall, he loves to laugh. Charlie was trying to help the exact same people who were laughing at his death. Do you have any idea how much damage this does to people's faith in humanity? Do the youth of America even deserve to be saved? Or do they deserve the Democrats? Do they deserve communism? Do they deserve crime? At this point, do they deserve what they're begging for? How many of us should die trying to save these people? Elon lost so much trying to save them. Who says thank you? I've tweeted thank you at Elon randomly 15 or 20 times, and everyone makes fun of me for it. Oh, you're glazing Elon. Thank you for giving us Twitter back, sir. Thank you. I don't have to agree with everything you do. I don't have to agree with everything you say. I don't have to like you. I don't have to know you. Thank you for giving me Twitter. Is that really an alien concept? Basic fucking respect? Is that the place we are on the planet now? The world is broken. Society at its fundamental level has broken down. At no point in history, I would argue, despite all the massive, crazy, horrible wars we had, did people disagree over something as fundamental as family. People would agree that a man should meet a woman and have a family. Surely the Germans and the British and the Americans and the Soviets and the Chinese and the Japanese all agreed on that. We don't even agree on that anymore. What's uniting America? Because I don't want to talk for too long, and I can talk about this for days. But the whole purpose and the whole merit behind multiculturalism is that everybody behaves and obeys the law and they can get rich and have a better life. But that's no longer the case. So it's descending into chaos. The reason the Middle East functions, the reason everyone behaves in Dubai is because they get rich there. But America can no longer provide the American dream. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. But now new battle lines are going to be drawn. And these battle lines, whether they're race, left, right, Republican, Democrat, tall, short, it doesn't matter. People are going to start dying. And I'm asking, how do we unify the population behind something? What do we have that unifies? We don't even have the flag. There's Americans who hate the flag. The British hate their own flag. They hate their own version of history. We don't speak the same language. We don't have the same religion. We don't even believe a man can't have children. What do we agree on? Do people have two arms? I'm sure I could find someone to disagree with me on that who believes I deserve a bullet in the neck.
What do you think about Trump's policy when it comes to crime and sending the troops on the streets? Do you think that he'll double down on that policy? Do you think it's the right thing to do?
Do I think there should be law and order in the cities of the richest country in the world?
With National Guard?
Do I think there should be law and order in the cities of the richest country in the world? I think it's a miracle that America has stayed as prosperous as it is when it's basically a permanent, never-ending war zone. You know, when I first got free from my Matrix attack and I flew to America, I expected a hero's welcome. Instead, the DA and Ron DeSantis attacked me. And part of me, I wasn't scared of them because they're liars and they're cowards. But I was heartbroken because I'm an American who faced unfair treatment at the hands of a foreign government. And when I return home, I'm once again attacked by the political class. And by asking some people why this happened, they said, oh, it's because Trump didn't endorse Ron DeSantis's wife and he endorsed Byron Donalds and there's some internal division and you flew to Florida. There's a political civil war constantly and endlessly in America. America feels like a war zone. I didn't realize it until I'd been away for so long. When I went home, I'm just a man who landed in Miami, and now there's political division and media attacking me and people threatening to kill me, and I need security teams. It is a war zone. What unites anybody? Doesn't Ron DeSantis understand innocent until proven guilty? At least. Have we lost that now? Has he ever apologized to me? Remember that back in February? Nothing's happened. Yeah. Have you heard an apology? I haven't. But people are coming to try and kill me because of it. No apology from him. If he was half a man, he'd apologize to me right now. Never going to come. It's a constant state of civil war. We have nothing left. What do I even preach in my messaging? Go to the gym, get strong, get rich, be successful, stick up for yourself. Even that is considered somehow bad by a large swath of the population. Well, then what can I teach? If I can't say be healthy and don't die, what can I say? If I can't say go be successful and take care of your family, What can I say? Am I supposed to do what most rich people do? Take my hundreds of millions, delete my Twitter account and vanish and leave all of these peons and peasants to suffer? Because that's what rich people do, because the mob is ungrateful. Every single person who watches this needs to tweet a thank you to Elon Musk. Every single person. Oh, but I disagree with him on whatever. He's the most powerful person in the world. You're a nobody. Say thank you. The world has lost everything. It's lost its gratefulness. It's lost its decorum. We've lost our respect. We've lost any kind of unifying, binding factor. The Western world has collapsed in real time. We are in a war. And it's not just a domestic problem. I want you to understand something, Mario. It's not just a domestic problem. Our enemies don't have this problem.
Who's our enemies? Who are you referring to? Can we put them in a bucket, or is it more of a mental?
Well, instead of enemy, let me say competitors, because the world is endless competition. Russia doesn't have this problem. China doesn't have this problem. India doesn't have this problem.
Would you want to live in China though?
No, I'm not saying I do. What I'm saying is, in the global competition, which is forever ongoing, we have a population at permanent civil war trying to compete against a unified population which outnumbers us 4-1. Where is the ending to this? And of all these liberals who want to complain and cry about authoritarianism under the Republicans are going to really hate the world when America falls. If we don't unify, if we don't get behind some idea and stick up for ourselves, the domestic problems are the least of our worries. We have international issues which are encroaching on us in real time. Do you understand what I'm saying? The Western world is going to implode. There are external forces. There are internal forces. This is the end of empire.
Is that a flaw in democracy, a flaw in the concept of freedom? One that, we cannot pinpoint the solution to it, but we're witnessing that unfold. As you said, Dubai doesn't have the freedom that the US has, but it is safer. It is a place I can walk around and not worry about having security. In the US, I'm sure you'd think twice now after what happened a couple of days, or what happened yesterday. In Romania,
well, all systems are broken. Democracy is a good system, but it becomes corrupted. And obviously, dictatorships are not a perfect system either. All systems eventually collapse underneath the weight of their own ineptitude, because all systems are inept. And it is a circle in which democracy falls to a kingdom of some sort, where we find a savior. And eventually, when the king dies and he's replaced by someone inept, we then call to choose our own king, and democracy returns. I'm not saying I have the solution to this, because all empires have fallen the same way. What I'm saying is, and what I'm doing is lamenting the end of democracy as we know it, because it is happening in front of our eyes. You may sit and say it's not happening, but it is. I'm not saying I know what the exact solution is, but I'm saying that it's very sad that it's happening, even if it's unavoidable. And perhaps, if I were to think about this rationally, considering that all democracy falls in the end, we should at least try our very best to retain our morality, retain our humanity. So if it damages democracy to lock up all these clowns who were laughing at Charlie Kirk, well, democracy is over anyway. So we need to at least reinstill our morality and humanity by teaching people that you don't laugh about the deaths of a father in front of his kids. I would at least do the moral thing. And the moral thing is to let these people know that this is not acceptable. That is not a human way to act, irregardless of politics. That is inhuman.
So where would you live? Romania, you're arrested. You had someone try to kill you a week ago. The UK, you had a comedian arrested a few days ago for a joke he made. Other people arrested for things they tweet. In the US, Charlie Kirk killed, people celebrating his death. We're talking about Europe. We're talking about the US. I come from Australia. At least there's no bad news there, but censorship is starting to get traction.
There's a lot of bad news in Australia. And that's what's so scary.
Wise, yeah.
Well, that's so scary. Where do we go, right? When Rome was falling, I'm sure the Romans who believed Rome would never fall, because it's Rome. We've been in charge for thousands of years. We have marble, these big, beautiful marble constructions and gold-plated towers. How can we possibly fall? I'm sure once they understood the decimation was coming and that Rome was going to fall, they asked themselves the same question: where do I go? Where is there to go? And there's never an answer.
Where are you going to live after?
I don't know the answer to the question. My intention is to return to America. That's my intention. but I'm going to catch a bullet sooner or later. But what else can I do? Where else can I go? I'm not Chinese. So what do you want me to do? I can go to China and hide, but that's not who I am.
I've got a lot of critique on China as well. If you speak out too much.
Everywhere. There's critique on everywhere, but I'm not Chinese. I'm American. So I'm talking about the American system. I'm talking about the complete lack of souls in the majority of the American youth in the world today.
What did you and Tristan talk? What was your first reaction when you saw the assassination?
Well, I saw that he had been shot. And I said to Tristan, Charlie Kirk was shot. And he said, no way. And then I saw that he was stable. And then I saw the video. And I said, there's no way you can make that. You can't make it. As soon as I saw the video, I knew. At that range, you'd be better to take a bullet in the head, because the bullet would have slowed down enough. Maybe your skull could have saved you. Neck is too soft. He bled out. He was over. I knew it instantly. And my heart broke. I don't know what else to say. It's easy for me to get angry and scream at these liberals, but there's no point screaming at a soulless. It's like screaming at a tree, these people. They have no soul. They're not sentient. There's no point screaming at them. My heart is broken for Charlie, for his family, for the Western world as we know it, for the country my father served under, for the country I was born in. My heart is broken. I don't know what else to say to you. The world as we know it is over. And the people who are cheering for his death want you dead too. And they want me dead. And unfortunately, if you study enough history, these people are psychopathic enough to get what they want. Because it's not about good and evil. It's about motivation. It's about who is prepared to do the most heinous transgressions to win. If you're playing a game, cheaters win. And they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat the election. They're going to cheat the judicial system. They're going to keep cheating until we're all gone.
Since we last spoke, I want to move on to other topics we haven't spoken in a while. You've had the Romanian elections cancelled. Obviously, we're seeing free speech get attacked across Europe. We've got, just yesterday, Russian drones in Poland. Qatar just got struck a couple of days ago. I was actually doing an interview on that. And I remember the shock, when I heard about that strike, I'm like, fuck, I haven't felt that shock in months. And then Charlie Kirk gets killed 2-3 days later. What is your position on the state of the world now? It's like boiling a frog. It's like, keeps getting worse, but it does so gradually. It's like, Russian drones in Poland, that is fine. No one died. Nothing happened. Qatar got struck, sovereign country and allied to the US by Israel. That's fine. It was Hamas. Are you worried about the way the world is heading in that direction in a very, very gradual pace?
I don't think it's gradual. I think it's actually accelerated. I think it's happening very quickly because America's lost its power and hegemony. Because America's in a state of constant civil war, they no longer have the ability to correctly police the world. And now there's going to be a power vacuum. As America loses power, there will be a vacuum of power. And that vacuum of power, as everyone attempts to fill it, will lead to more and more violence. We've seen this in every country. When Saddam fell, more violence comes. So the whole world is losing America's protection. And there's going to be a period of prolonged violence. And my primary objective now is to stay alive so that my double-digit children can eat and stay alive along with me. That's my primary objective now. I mean, I can give a whole bunch of political commentations on everything you've just said. I can talk about all of them. But truthfully, we're in a very scary period of history. And the period is so scary. As an adult man now, you need to be sitting and thinking and analyzing, okay, what do I do about this? It's not just about saving the world sometimes, Mario. It's about saving yourself from the world. Where can I go? How do I make money? Who can I bring with me? Are my children going to be okay there? What happens if there's a war? People need to be looking at a map and thinking outside the box instead of just arguing about identity politics, because these rabid psychopaths want us dead. And as America collapses into these civil disputes, these domestic disputes, make no mistake that our international competitors are enjoying this. Let's be honest. Let's play game theory. Let's play chess. Is Charlie Kirk's assassination good for China?
Bringing divisiveness in the U.S.
America stable and united or not? I don't know.
One could argue no.
Well,
there's a fair argument to be made. No,
I don't have any problem with the Chinese, but this is just the way the world is. So we're
Look,
looking weaker.
all America's rivals, all rivals to democracy, have just been celebrating for the past year.
Well, there you go. And the people who want us dead, they don't want democracy anyway. You know, they're the ones who want communism.
You know, I was talking on the day, you know, I was just talking to my team about it today. I was just on the day that happened. I was just speaking to my team about, you know, crime here in the UAE. I'm like, are the figures correct? Is it really as safe as people make it out to be? We were having a discussion back and forth. And then hours later, Charlie Kirk got killed. And then before that, the Hamas delegation got killed in Qatar. There's a feeling I'm starting to get is that no matter who you are, including the president of the United States, it's just safety is becoming an illusion, especially with the ability to track you anywhere you are. Have you chatted to Tristan about, hey, should we continue doing what we're doing? Should we continue being as outspoken as we have been? Should we get into your British politics as you announced a couple of weeks ago, a few days ago? Have you considered changing your path completely?
We've had this discussion, but our only option is to disappear completely. They're never going to forgive me for making the capital crime of having an opinion. And I'm never going to capitulate and apologize for anything I've ever said because I meant it. So I can disappear completely, or I can continue to fight the good fight. But history doesn't remember a coward. Charlie wasn't a coward. Charlie gets to be immortalized, as a real man should. If Charlie was alive and you were to say to him, you can disappear and admit that the transsexuals were right, and you can sell out, or you can die on stage like a man and become a martyr and become a hero that is remembered for eternity, I believe Charlie would have chosen this option, because that's what men do. So I have absolute respect for him. And I know what's coming for me, and I'm not running from it.
What do you know about the person that tried to get into your house?
I know that they wore a construction outfit and they pulled out a machete and attempted to, and they attacked one of the people who were building at my house, one of the legitimate builders, once they couldn't get to me. They were arrested by the Romanian police, and I've heard nothing from the police since, despite repeated attempts for information. I don't know who he was. I don't know where he was from. I don't know what he wants. The Romanian police have no time or energy to tell me anything about that. They only had time and energy to mess with me for 4 years without any kind of criminal case. I don't understand any of it. All I can do is sleep with a gun under my pillow, have guys with guns all around my house, and have a gate which doesn't open unless we've ID'd you in advance. What else can I do? Like, this is the life I live now. Why? Because the media said I'm a bad person. Have I sold drugs? Have I killed anyone? Why am I such a bad guy? There's people on Twitter right now saying Andrew Tate's a bad guy. Why? Because I have a differing opinion to you? Did I send young men to go die in foreign wars? What have I done? I made a joke. Oh, I said women couldn't park. Oh, well, yeah, sure. Put a bullet in my neck. And these people truly believe I deserve it. They're savages.
What's happening with your investigation now, with your case now?
Don't know. It's not in court.
You're still sitting in limbo in Romania.
No, I'm free. I can go anywhere I want. I'm just here because I want to be. I'm not scared of the Romanian state. I know they have no case on me. I know I've done nothing wrong. I said at the beginning of this that you'll all see it fall apart. Everyone who's trying to say I'm going to go to jail is going to one day look back in the mirror and realize they were an idiot. I saw the case file on day one, and I saw how stupid it was. You can't tell me that I forced the mother of my child to have a child. And you can't tell me that because my friend has TikTok, she's human trafficked. It was ridiculous. So ridiculous, even the most corrupt state in Europe couldn't put me in jail for it. I'm not scared of these people. It's a clown show. Anyone who believes it's an idiot. It's a complete clown show. It was a setup by the Matrix. The British Foreign Office wrote to the Romanians in 2023 saying that he is a problem. Can we get him off the internet? The British Foreign Office ordered this. And the Romanians complied because they don't care because I'm not Romanian. It was all a setup from the beginning. Anyone who couldn't see through it from day one needs their head checked. So I'm in Romania because my house is here. And if they want to come arrest me, they can do it. Mario, I'm not a coward. Do you understand? I'm not afraid of these people or anyone else. So I'm here in Romania and everyone knows where I live. Come get me. But they're not coming to get me, it seems. And they're not sending me to court either because they know they have nothing.
If you were invited to go speak at a conference in the US, would you do it now?
Sure.
All right, then. Well, look, pleasure to speak to you again. And I feel like every time there's something major that happens, we have these conversations. Happened with the Trump assassination. We did it with Elon once. I can't remember what the event was in that space. And now after Charlie Kirk's shooting, I hope the next discussion will be under better circumstances, and I hope things improve on your side. And lastly, you're getting into politics as well in the UK, correct?
Correct. I'm going to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom if they don't kill me first. This is a guaranteed trajectory. This is not an if. This is a when. And as I save the country, millions of people will be ungrateful to me, and millions of people will insult me as I do the right thing. Very much like our President Trump, as he does the right thing and saves America, everybody attacks him for doing it. It's amazing.
But why get into politics? Why get into politics? Like you were an influencer, the most Googled person at one stage, and look what happened to you. So your next plan will be like, hey, I'm going to double down and get into even murkier territory, get into politics where I could be further targeted by people that disagree with me, as we've seen in France. Le Pen can't run again, as we've seen obviously in Romania, where you're at, where the person that's supposed to be president got arrested and barred from running again. As you saw in Imran Khan in Pakistan, we saw in Brazil. It's all at the level there with Bolsonaro. That's your decision, of just getting into politics.
What happens if
fighting the establishment?
What happens if good men do nothing?
What about your family?
What happens if good men do nothing?
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? My choices are get on my newly commissioned super yacht, which I've just bought, go to international waters and leave everybody to suffer in poverty, or to continue to fight for the countries I grew up in. And I think I'd be happier to fight and die than just hide for the rest of my human existence in comfort. I'm not a coward.